and held the public hearing.
Well, we'll take no action because we haven't had the public hearing as tabled till later date. Okay, so we should proceed on with item F1B.
Got a question?
Yes, trustee.
If I wanted something tabled, is this the time to do it, or?
If you want to pull something out,
Yes, I want to pull something out, yes.
Well, but you're not on the consent agenda. So once we get to the item, if you were on the consent agenda, I would tell you to do that, but you don't have this as a consent agenda. So once we get to the item, then you can ask for it to be tabled. Or
Okay,
removed.
thank you.
You're welcome.
okay, so we can proceed forward, Attorney Miller.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
All right, thank you. Item F1B, second and third reading and ordinance amending Part 2, Title 4, Chapter 210, Section 210-01, Standing Rules of the Village of University Park Code of Ordinance. Is there a motion?
Motion.
So,
Moved by trustee Franklin, second by trustee Bowden.
yes,
Mr. Mayor, be recognized.
Go ahead, trustee.
I just want to share with the board that I don't know, how can you say, as much as you try to be diplomatic, I spoke with you and Attorney Costado on July 28th for 47 minutes, and this was part of it. I was very clear how this ordinance, number one, that I have tried to get you, hold on. I tried to speak with you and Attorney Costado about when it comes to this ordinance. You didn't share an opinion, but he did. And now here it is on the agenda. Hold on. I want to make sure I got the right, what I read here.
I don't remember having a conversation regarding this. What I do remember is that you asked the board to give you an opportunity to table it and that you'll send in some other information to support it. And that was in our last June meeting. So since then, I haven't received anything.
Okay, no, but see, you said we talked. Well, this day we talked. We talked on July the 28th for 47 minutes in a conversation in which I told him, point number one, I had a problem with the language. He made it very clear. That he was trying to make up something that it would work for everyone, in which it really doesn't have to work for him. And that's when the conversation went more in depth. It was you, me, and him on the phone. So I don't know how you did not have that recollection, because I also told him, excuse me,
just for the record,
it's my lawsuit, so I can speak about it. Am I correct? It's my lawsuit, so I'm gonna speak on it. When I told him,
this isn't about your lawsuit. This is about an ordinance.
excuse me, you created the ordinance, so I can't even finish my lawsuit. When I told him, you haven't even given me what I asked for. So why are we even passing this? Because this is all for the trustees. And trustees, I'm telling you, the problem I have with this, is that you're passing something that is really even no purpose. Because the lawyer said it himself. He said he was trying to find something that we all can work with. And so now we have, and when he said he didn't even know things were being double redacted. So now you're trying to put something up there for the fact that what you gonna do? Go back and tell the judge that we passed something, we got a rule? We don't even need that. All we have to do is keep it just like it was. And I told him, I don't want no union members standing over my shoulder, just like any other trustee don't want a union member standing over their shoulder while they look at whatever it's credit card, bank accounts, whatever they're looking at. And we were very on the same page that we were when it came to when the clerk said that certain information must be redacted. I told him I was fine with that. So really and trustees, there is no reason to pass this tonight, period. Because I tried to have a discussion about this and work on it.
Let me just respond a little bit, because obviously I wasn't a part of that conversation.
I
but
wasn't either.
You was part of it, man. Why would you sit there and lie like that?
Okay. Okay, hold on. I don't. I'm just gonna.
You was there.
Okay. but I don't,
Carvana.
let me just talk from my recollection was that you guys were given, we had talked about this, you guys were given a draft of it. And if there was going to be issues that by anyone, or things you want to change, that we were going to, either it would be given to the village manager or the clerk or even sent to me or something of that nature. And I know I didn't get anything. So that's why I was under the impression this was good. I know one of our attorneys, Steve, had talked to your attorney about if he had any issues to send him anything. So we were under the impression, for our purposes, this is Joe speaking as an attorney. If there's an issue about what's being given out, we like to have a policy so it's clear what you can get and how you can get it. And that's kind of stems, and you're right, there's not what this codifies is what we felt was the process to do all along. But since there is the lawsuit, we need to have something in play here. So I'm just at a loss, Trustee Brooks, as to.
I think you just said it, Attorney Miller. You said you had something that we need to have something to play. Exactly. That's my point. We don't need anything in play when it comes to the question is, Trustee Brooks asked for certain documents. He didn't get it. And only thing he asked, and I was very clear to Costado, I don't have a problem. I have not even refiled. And matter of fact, when the motion was won, but let's not talk about who was gloating victory, because all of a sudden the residents, they concerned about money being spent and Trustee Brooks lost a lawsuit. No, they don't care about that. What they want to know is, if a trustee asks, so how much is in the bank? Did he get what he was asking for? And today is August the 10th. That lawsuit was way back in March. I still don't know what's in the bank. I still don't know I didn't still get all the credit cards. And to be this day, I'm telling the trustees, if we don't even have to go this far, just give me what I'm asking for. We don't even need rules. There's already rules for it. Am I right, Mr. Miller?
I mean,
you want to put something in place.
I do.
I'm talking to Mr. Miller.
Here's why I think we need something, because there was some questions in regards to, one of the things that I feel strongly about, and this is Joe not only talking about University Park, but Joe talking about all of his clients in regards to any request for, say, passwords or full account numbers of things of that nature. I don't think you guys as board members want to get all of that information. If it's a matter of getting like the last 4 digits, or even being able to review it unredacted in what this is setting up so that you could look at it at the village hall, I think that's important to go into play. And the reason I feel that way strongly in regards to that is because, part of my job is to protect you guys. And if everyone has full access to things, when something comes up missing or if something gets then they're going to ask who had all of this information. And I think it's a matter of to protect board members. And I know that was something we had talked about in regards to before. So that's why I feel strongly in regards to some of the things about taking some documents away from Village Hall, which this is in regards to it. I do think in regards to, if you're talking about that, I do think we need to have something in play, because I think there's a belief that board members can take completely unredacted documents away from Village Hall. And I don't agree with that at all. I know that's kind of been stated to the judge.
Me neither.
But
me neither. And I just received a message. No one contacted my attorney. No one. And I have talked to him, and I asked for this dialogue, and I took it upon myself because we trying to get along. That's when I had the conversation on July 29th that some people don't remember for 45.
No, so, obviously I wasn't part of that, but here's my understanding. At one of the last court hearings, it was explained that your attorneys was sent a copy of the policy, and he was at that court hearing. It was said, if you have some issues with it, get with the village attorneys. So yes, you're correct. No one gave him an extra call because at court, he was told, if you have any issues with it, contact the village attorneys. And since he has not contacted anyone.
Which court date was this? Because
I don't know the exact, I don't know the exact court date. I wasn't there for the court date, but that's my understanding of what occurred. I was in the June meeting where I thought the idea was that everyone got a copy of this, and if there was issues, everyone's supposed to look at it. That part is I'm clearing because I was in that June meeting. So I understand why you feel that there's no need to have this, but I think there needs to be clarification so that it is understood, not just for you, but for future boards, that so a board member can't come in and say, oh, I get unredacted copies of everything that I can take home with me. I don't agree with that because I think it just sets a bad precedent, and it sets. And I know you agree. I know you agree with that. I know you agree with that. I know you agree with that. I know you agree with that, but I'm not saying you said that, but this clarifies that so that all of that, this policy is supposed to take care of things, not only that you were concerned about, but other things as well. So this policy, that's why I think the policy is needed. Now, obviously, that's a board's decision. If you guys don't want to do it, then you don't want to do it.
Let's take the vote.
No, you calling the vote so you can get what you want, but you know good and well, Mr. Rudass, you was there. I yield my time.
Trustee Brooks, the only time that we had.
I yield my time. Mr. Mayor. You called the roll. You know what? I motion to table this.
Wait a minute. So, but first we have a motion to approve it. So I guess.
Yes. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I motion to table.
It's a motion
so
to
I
approve.
got ignored. The roll hasn't been taken. Discussion was made. That's true. Discussion was made. Discussion was made, and I made the motion.
Okay, second.
Okay.
So there's a motion and a second for the vote, and
to table.
No, there's a first motion and a second.
It's a motion. The discussion was made.
No, there was a motion.
I made a motion.
Trustee Brooks, would you please give me an opportunity to talk?
Can you please learn the Robert Rules of Order?
Well, you know, very disrespectful, but I see you're starting
no different than how you do me.
No, because the only conversation we had, it took us 2 weeks to conversate, was talking about Carvana with you in the Castaldo.
You know what? 2 weeks. Why? Because somebody answered your phone instead of you? Now let's don't go there. Now let's call the roll.
So I guess here's where I'm at on it. And you know, there was first a motion and then second on the one.
Right.
If that fails, then really, so that's why I don't know if the motion is needed to table it, because if it fails, then it fails. Because really, Trustee Brooks, to me, what you're saying is you don't think this is needed. So, like, if a vote is taken on the motion from Trustee Franklin and Trustee Boulding, and that fails, then it's eliminated, and we don't even have to bring it up anymore. Because that sounds like, because that's why I'm a little bit confused on your motion to table it, because it sounds like to me you don't want to table this for future discussion. You don't think this policy is needed, and you just don't think we need to adopt it. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, you're correct, Attorney Miller, but I also have respect for my trustees, and I would not lie to my trustees. If this is something they would like to see in place, I would do my due diligence to make sure it would happen, but I really don't see no purpose of it because I'm voting no. But if they want to, I have no problem doing it. But right now, if it fails, it fails, but I still have respect. If my trustees feel that something like this should be in place, I would do it. That's
I understand what you're saying. Okay, I understand where you're coming from now.
What did you say, Mr. Mayor?
Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the first motion.
Trustee McFadden.
Votes aye.
Trustee Brooks.
Votes no.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Votes no.
Trustee Franklin.
Both aye.
Trustee Bolden.
Votes aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez. I'm sorry, Mayor Rudez.
I concur, Madam Clerk.
Is there a vote, sir?
Both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, motion carried, and that is ordinance 2021-07.
Okay. Item F2, new business agenda. First, second, and third reading and ordinance of the Village of University Park, Will and Cook Counties, Illinois, an ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding between the Village of South Chicago Heights and the Village of University Park. Is there a motion?
So move.
Move by trustee Franklin. Second by trustee Bolden. Questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee McFadden,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks,
Both sides.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Both sides.
trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
trustee Lewis,
Both sides.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides.
Motion carries, and that's ordinance 2021-08.
Item F2B, a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement by and between fire agencies and Mavis Division 27. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Franklin, second by trustee Lewis. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm gonna turn this around. Trustee Lewis,
Y'all doing it outside?
Yes.
trustee Lewis,
Yes. Both sides. I'm sorry.
trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks,
Both sides.
trustee McFadden,
Both sides.
Mayor Rudez.
Vote time, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution R 2021-16.
Wow. Item F2C, good stuff, guys. A resolution adopting the findings of the annual audit for the fiscal year ending in April 30th, 2019. Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by trustee Franklin,
Second.
second. McFadden?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Why did we receive this so late? And how are we able to process all this information and we just got this? Well, Madam Clerk, I see you can explain why, because we got it late. I got it late. It wasn't in my Dropbox. I got this when you sent the agenda.
Right, you're absolutely correct. I did not have all of the documents. That's why I had sent the agenda prior to that. In the event anyone had questions, once I got the copy of the audit is when I sent the entire agenda packet after I got all of the documents to go in the agenda packet, which I did not receive until Sunday.
I didn't get F2C.
Well, that's a lot of audits we done caught up with in a short amount of time, 6 years of audits.
Again, what? Yeah, Madam Clerk, thank you. Because it was just a lot. It's a lot for me to zip through, but I just think it was short notice to.
Yeah.
To go.
So, and I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Trustee Brooks. I apologize. I thought you were done. So.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay. First of all, I apologize for that. Yeah. So it really depends on how you guys want to do it. I know you guys got obviously you're really behind in the audits. Trustee Brooks says it's correct that typically, and what I can't remember is I know the auditors came and I just don't remember if they were presenting this audit or another audit. So at some point, quite honestly, whether you guys, what was it, this audit, Trustee Brooks?
It was the
Or
other
was it approved? It was the other one.
In January.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at some point, you know, whether or not, if you guys are okay, you can approve it, but at some point they still are going to have to come out and, you know, and go through some of the things, because yeah, they, you know, you guys as the board members, you do have the right to have the auditors present it to you. I just couldn't remember. I know they came out and they presented a few, you know, the only reason that I would say, quite honestly, let's move forward is because you are so behind. And obviously that's not the fault of any of you guys as board members. But just be aware that, you know, to the point of, you know, Trustee Brooks, and to, you know, obviously the village clerk has explained that she got it to you as soon as she could get it to you. You know, that they're going to have to come and present these or answer any questions, whether you adopt it tonight or not. They still need to do that because you have the right of that as board members. And kudos to all of you guys at the village, Ms. Kelly, Meredith, Madam Clerk, Miss Village Manager Beck Fulcom, to, you know, trying to get caught up. I applaud you on trying to get caught up, but I don't know how you guys want to proceed on that. But yeah, they do need to come and make a presentation at some point.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk. We'll get him in, Attorney Miller.
That's all I need.
If I'm not mistaken, Bill Hanley did present to us either in April or May.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Process.
Okay.
Yeah, I could run upstairs if you guys want to hold on and pull down the.
I don't need that. I
Okay.
know they were at a meeting, but I just didn't know what year.
Yeah.
You're so far. There were so many behind. I couldn't tell you what year audits they were doing, because
Yeah, I think
that
was 18.
Yeah,
It was
this
18.
year.
It
No,
was
yeah.
18. He did 18. Yeah.
No, he's
All
come
right.
back.
Oh, he did 19, Theo.
Yeah, he's come back since then.
He went back. He did 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee McFadden,
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks,
Pass.
Trustee Jenkins Bell,
Votes no.
Trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
Trustee Lewis,
Yeah.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks,
Ending 2020.
2021.
Trustee
Are you doing a
Brooks,
19 audit first? I'm sorry, guys.
Abstain, Madam Clerk. I'm lost.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides to approve the audit.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution. It is approved. Resolution R 2021-17.
And I just want to say one thing before I go to the next item. I greatly appreciate my board of trustees for taking care of the finances in the village. When we walked into this problem, walked into the previous administration, we were lacking 16, 17, 18, and 19 years audit. So I appreciate the board members who take their fiscal responsibility very seriously. So let's continue to move this community forward. We're back in MFT and a whole lot of other good things because we get our audits done. Item F2D, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the engagement letters by and between the Village of University Park and Whipley LLP for annual audits for fiscal year ending in April 30th, 2020 and fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021. Wow. Is there a motion?
So move.
Wait a minute. Wait. Am I reading
This is
this wrong?
F2D.
no, yeah. So let me explain because I know I saw. So you just approved the 2019 audit, you know, so from year 2018 to 2019, this is an engagement letter for them to do the work for the 2020 ending fiscal year and the fiscal year that just ended a few months ago to do the work for those two audits. So you're still behind. You're still essentially an audit behind, and the 2021 audit would be due later this year. But this is just you authorizing them to do the work. I know there was some confusion there because you approved an audit by the same company, and now you're saying now you're authorizing them to do the next two audits.
This is
Correction.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, I need to make a correction. You had sent two agendas. I'm sorry, I'm on the first one you sent. I'm sorry. That was my
But
confusion.
this
because-
was
Yeah.
on first agenda. This
No,
was
no,
on-
no. No, I got, well, the one you sent, I only had one. There was nothing else. There's
But
not
I
even
Yeah.
anything on Carvana.
But I did send to everybody as of Sunday the agenda that listed all of these, everything that's on tonight. I sent to the entire board on Sunday after I received the information. See, my job in 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I work Saturday, Sunday.
I agree with you, Madam Clerk. The first agenda that came up with me. So yes, correction.
Yeah,
I was
then-
lost. That's why I was looking confused. I
Yeah.
do not wish to abstain. I wish to make that vote yes. I didn't know what I was reading here. I
Mhm.
apologize. Yes, I did not. I got the old agenda. Hold on. Let
Okay.
me. Yes.
Which one, which one, Brooks?
The old one, it wasn't on there. It just only had one, and then it goes to construction. It had the maybe, and then it jumped to another one. So
Yeah.
I got
Right.
lost between. So I got an old agenda in front of me.
Okay,
Madam
yeah,
Clerk?
I know there was two different agendas, so.
Yeah,
So Madam Clerk, then on the previous motion, then Trustee Brooks is actually, you're saying you were voting yes. You meant,
Yeah.
if you'd have known, you would have voted yes on the previous motion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
right.
confused.
Your abstention still goes as it's going with the majority anyway.
Yeah, but he just wants to change it to be an aye. So it can be
I
a
know.
say.
Okay, good.
Correct the
Right,
record.
I understand. You know your
I got
Robert
you.
rules. I know.
I got you. I got a new Robert's rules too for everybody. It's coming. Yeah. Okay, so I did change her vote from abstaining. Okay,
Okay.
now on F2D, I had a motion, but I don't know who the seconder was.
I think it was me, Dee.
Okay.
I think it was McFadden.
It was McFadden. Okay.
Oh, no, what? No, that
Yeah.
was you. That was Bolden. That was Bolden.
Okay.
It was Bolden, it was Bolden.
It was Bolden.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, item
That-
F2E,
I just wanted to add to
Which
that.
one?
this one
The
you want to pull?
F2D, the one we're talking about, if you notice in your agenda package, you had 2 separate engagement letters and all the supportive documentation that went with it, because this is just one motion to approve 2
2
years of letters of engagement. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Trustee Shirley, was that something that you wanted to come to now?
Yeah, this one, F2E. the
No,
resi-
we have.
No, we haven't got, you have to vote on F2D
Oh.
still.
I'm sorry.
I thought we just voted on it.
Can I do roll call?
Right.
Yes.
FTD,
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
trustee McFadden,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks,
Both sides.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Both sides.
trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
trustee Lewis,
Both sides.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides.
Okay, that carries, and that's resolution R 2021-18.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we'd like to remove item F2E from the agenda.
Okay, do we need a motion to
Yeah,
remove?
are we tabling it, or you guys want to not, or you just want to have it removed, turn up for a
Let's have it
different date?
removed.
I'm just-
Trustee Shirley?
I think we want to remove until
Yes.
we get some more information and for further discussion right now, and move it to the September meeting maybe
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
for discussion.
So
We need
just
more
for purposes of, let's do a motion just for purposes of consistency in what we've tabled for. So it'll be a motion to remove, or if you want to table it, or if you guys want to, Trustee Bowden, would you have it rather just automatically tabled for September, or do you want to just have it removed until you get the information?
Remove it.
remove till we get the information, I believe.
Okay, so then there would be a motion. We need a motion to have item F2E for the contract between the village and Ashlar Construction to be removed from the agenda until the board members are provided further information.
Yes.
Second. Oh, did we do a second already?
No,
Did
you
I-
didn't. That was, you just
So
did.
moved.
Who made the trustee
Trustee
Lewis
Lewis.
Lewis,
to remove this? We
Yep,
got
to remove it.
who's the second?
Brooks.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And that,
All right.
and that can just be a voice vote and all in favor, Madam
all
Clerk.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Same
None.
sign.
Same sign? Awesome. Item F2F, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an economic incentive agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Carvana LLC. Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by trustee Franklin,
Second.
second by trustee Bowden.
Question.
Question,
Yeah,
trustee Brooks.
okay.
Me too.
Someone about to say something. Is that Miller?
Yeah, I was going to say something before, because I know this was, if you want me to say, maybe what I'll say will help answer some of the questions. I don't know if that will or not. I was going to say
Go ahead.
something in regards to it. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I know there was some comments in regards to, in the public comments about Carvana and all of that. I really, whether someone thinks it's not a good car company or not, here's my understanding. So just so you guys understanding what's going on with this agreement is that it's essentially there would be a sharing on the sales tax receipts. My understanding right now that currently, you're not getting any sales tax on that property because there's no facility there for the plant property. And village manager, Madam Village Manager Folcom, you can confirm that's true or not. So right now you're probably getting zero sales tax dollars on that property. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so the idea behind
That's
this
correct.
agreement is that, they build the facility depending on, they have to put in certain work for the infrastructure and at least, it's a 20-year agreement and you'll split the sales tax dollars until they reach a certain amount. Once it gets to a certain amount, then they, instead of getting an even split for the remainder of that 20 period, they would get only a quarter of it. So in theory, the idea is that, well, even if they're only getting $1 million in sales tax a year, which I think that's actually a low number. I anticipate they'd be getting more. Usually they're probably getting double that. But even if they're getting $1 million, 50% of $1 million is $500,000, whereas 50% of zero is, guess what, is zero. So that's the idea behind it. Because I know it's a little bit of a confusing document because all of these documents, whenever you're talking about sales tax sharing, or some companies like to do what we call abatements, so that essentially they don't have to pay as much in the tax revenue. I'm not a big fan of abatements. We do see more of these sales tax things. So so just for you guys and for any members of the public to understand, that's the idea, is trying to get some money. My gut says that you would probably get close to $1 million a year, but but that's just based on information I've heard about Carvana. I do know that 50% of zero is zero, and 50% of whatever it is going to be that. And then if they do really well, then they're only going to get a quarter of it, and you're reaping the benefits and the idea of bringing jobs and things of that nature. I can't speak to whether or not someone thinks it's not that great of a car company. Times have changed in regards to how people buy cars, and I know it is an up and growing company. I don't know if that answered any of your questions, Trustee Brooks, but I thought, it is a confusing agreement. I acknowledge that. Whenever you have like lawyers doing two sets of lawyers doing things can get complicated, but that's the general premise of what the agreement is.
Madam Clerk, Trustee Brooks had it, Madam Clerk, then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. The question that I think that really stands, that I expressed when I had this conversation on the 28th of July, was that one, that when did we agree to that area to be started on or excavated? How much money did we even get out of that? It was never brought to any of the board members. So I understood, and the answer that was given to me, that we didn't own that property. I did take a look into that, and it was, at least before I was sworn in, it was still declared agricultural. So the bigger part about that, the question that I ask is that, has it even been taken in consideration that Carvana, if they do go belly up, that a building would just be sitting there? It wouldn't be anything that area was supposed to be slated for everyone who remember prior to the board I came on. That was going to be retail, like a Starbucks, maybe a little mall. It was supposed to be more like a Hyde Park type of situation. Now we see all clear dirt, nothing. I mean, and to my understanding, the agreement is at a 180 stage. That was the answer that was given to me 2 weeks ago before this pops in front of me. So that's why I kind of have an attitude, because it just seems like, I feel like any other resident, no one said anything to it when this was even spoke about at the town hall meeting. Mayor, you muted.
Yes, trustee. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Just to try to answer that, Trustee Brooks, do you have that piece of partial confused with the partial that's east of the railroad tracks?
Yeah, that's where the TOD.
That
Yeah.
was part of the TOD that they wanted to build next to the train tracks. Low cost upscale housing and shopping, shopping stores, but that was east of the railroad tracks, across the street from Governor State University, where, what's his name on that property?
Nathan Manilow.
Manilow on that
Nathan
property.
Manilow. And that's where our concentration was, the TOD
Right.
study.
It was not on the Cicero corridor. It did not extend that far as
No.
part of
Well, I'll say this, Madam Clerk. You did ask a good question. Even then, I honestly thought when the word Carvana popped up, when someone asked me about it, I was just honest about it. I thought that it would be west of Cicero, not right there at the corner where everyone turns. I really thought it was a Mark Good project. So I'm just being honest. And I didn't even blink an eye. I was like, okay, I expected it, so that's why I say that, Madam Clerk.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk. I
just got one other question, and that is, so that I'm clear, this is not in a TIF district. This is not a TIF project. Am I correct?
Oh, not at all. No.
Okay. I just thought maybe we should bring that out, to the
Can I
board.
say something, Mayor?
No, wait a minute. Trustee Jenkins was on
Okay, that's okay.
Question, did this go to a public hearing to see what the residents look like? Or has this been forced down their throat? Now, I'm trying to understand, did we ask them, is this what they want? They live here as well as we live here. So my thing is of course I did my homework. I did. And I started looking into Carvana, and it's it's on the Fortune 500 company. They made $5.5 billion, but they also lost $462 million last year. So that led me to keep looking. When did it go to zoning? So I called Ernestine today, and she told me that it did not go to zoning because it didn't have to, because it's an industrial area and it's not considered agricultural. That's what she explained to me today. Well, someone put the deed in my mailbox. And so I have the deed for sale, and it says that it has been zoned as agriculture. It tells the date.
You didn't explain everything I told you, Trustee.
Karen A. Uncle's office, it has a PIN number and all of these different things. My thing is this. This is not a dictatorship, as I've stated before. These residents deserve to be able to be heard about what is coming into their community. And if they want, we don't get to do what we want to do to people that are working every day to pay taxes. That is not cool. All the residents, the trustees were not in the inception and the beginning of this deal. It was an NDA on it. Now you need our vote. You should have asked us prior to needing our vote. So I'm looking at this situation like, no, because it's not fair to the community. This is not fair. If you're going to do what you're going to do, I understand that, but you still need to make sure that they're included in what you're going to do, as well as the legislators. We didn't know any of this going on with Carvana. Who does this kind of nonsense and then think it's acceptable and it's okay? Well, it's not okay. These residents, what makes you think that they want that on the corner of one of their main thoroughways? What makes you think they want that? What is wrong with a sit-down restaurant? What is wrong with a Portillo's? They went public. And I don't mean to be mean, but all of these backroom deals and all of this nonsense that's going on is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Corruption needs help. And I'm not willing to help. And see, the thing about it is, if you're going to keep doing this like a secret society, it makes no sense. Government should always, always be transparent in everything that's going on. And we're not being transparent. We're telling the residents, how you think it feels? I feel at home, they knocking on my door. We don't want a Carvana. What is Carvana? You could have had Carvana come in, talk to the residents, reassure them of what was going on, and also talk to the board. This makes absolutely no sense. It does not. And it's just unreal to me. So we just don't Trump this through. We're going to just do Trump. This makes no sense. Now, I understand it might be a good deal, but at least let them know what you're doing. It's nothing wrong with letting them know and letting them see what Carvana is doing. What makes you think we don't have questions for Carvana? Why is it that 3 people can only decide our fate? That's the question that I'm asking. So when Carvana is, we just got to take it. They excavated the land, so we don't have a choice. We can't get sued. So now what? You forcing this down our throat, because you said it's okay. And it's not okay. It's terrible. This is a terrible mess. And government should not be like this. Who does this? Who? And then if you just would have had a public meeting, you could have told them whatever you wanted. Let them reassure the taxpayer. Let them know that it's okay. But you want us to take your word and you wouldn't even give us a meeting. Are you kidding me? And I am upset because it makes no sense. It's making us all look bad. Every last one of us. I yield my time.
Mayor, you're on mute.
Go ahead, Manager E.
First of all, I did it. I explained to Trustee, she left the first part off of what I told her. And I told her that based on ordinance, agriculture is special permitting.
Okay.
I explained that to her. Which means that if it is no longer used as agricultural, it diverts back to its original zoning, which is commercial industrial. And that's according to the ordinance. So if you all notice, before Carvana came there, it was not being farmed. The owner of the property was not farming it. He was paying taxes without structures. Now, what also wasn't mentioned is the Carvana will be paying real estate taxes. Right now, there are no real estate taxes per se. So Carvana will be paying real estate taxes. Did get provisions under the enterprise zone for permitting for materials and the like, but they have to pay that 50-50 tax deal example that was given. So 50% of something is better right now than 100%. Number one. Number two, and we're getting substantial real estate dollars. Substantial real estate dollars. And that's another thing. So another thing about economic development, everybody talk the talk, but economic development is not easy because you have to have the sanctioning. In fact, we're going on one tomorrow. There's one coming. We had the nibble for Chick-fil-A, but people have the monies to offer and other amenities. And if you don't have and give them certain kinds of amenities, they go to other places where traffic is higher and other kinds of things. So what we're doing right now, University Park has had nothing in place to attract economic development. We got a brochure that the board is getting very soon, and it's a economic development piece that we're going to be marketing that lays out all the amenities in the village, open space, zoning information. That had not been done before. The need was there. We're doing that. The other thing is we've gotten a final draft, so it's going to have an opportunity to go to the board. We're going to look, you're going to be able to look at capital improvement programs for the village, a CIP program for the village that has all its priority projects, dollars, all of that, so we can begin to give it to the finance committee. So when we do the budget, you know why certain things are going on. I'm saying all of this and probably can say a lot more, but right now, the village has an issue of blight. That's why we're trying to develop a demolition program to get rid of some of these houses that people are restored to, and they've devalued their property. There's so many problems that have not been looked at for years. So we're getting it. I can understand the community's position with them, but when companies like this come in, they adhere to your ordinance, they do what the perspective are, it will be very difficult not to let them build a certain type of business on a piece of property if they do not adhere to your laws. So the solicitation came, they negotiated with the landowner. In most cases, they don't tell you what's going on. Because they tell you what's going on, the landowners will increase the dollars, which make it very difficult for them to purchase. Subsequently, no economic development for the community. Now, just want to say, guys, I mean, the citizens are very upset because certain things, but we get what we're able, when we're able to get it in. If we meet these criteria, it's not just poof, these kinds of things drop out of the air. We have to even do many things to get what we get to be, and it has to fit your laws, your ordinances, and that's what we have to be. But we're going after the edible places. We are. We had one that was ready to come in, but somebody gave them a better incentive. They went to another neighborhood, and then they come to the village, and this citizens sometimes, when they get to the developers, they don't like that. This one particular developer that I'm talking about went to another community. We thought we almost had it, but they heard the bickering and the likes and dislikes. They moved to an adjacent community. We have to deal with those kinds of things. We have had trustee public hearings, but everybody don't come to public hearings. There are key people that have shown up, made their comments known. Some of those kinds of things have been met, but a lot of folk don't come to meetings.
Okay.
But we do try to have those kinds of things. But this was a business that came, they were negotiating with the landowner. They met all the requirements. They hit our door, came in where the legislative part had to be involved, and we moved forward.
And just for the record, Trustee Sonia, for the last 53 years that this village has been in existence, our annual sales tax revenue has been probably less than $20,000. And when this impact, and I understand what you're saying, this is the best way that we can actually help the taxpayers, because the more economic development, the more sales tax, real estate tax, and what happens to the tax bill, it decreases. And that's the whole goal. And it's very difficult and challenging. This process is extremely difficult. And you have to have some kind of foresight and vision for this. So always look, I would ask everybody to look at the cup as half full, and we're on our way. I sat on that board for 12 years with a couple of different administrations, and there was no economic development. There was no audits being done. There was no streets being paved. There was no new squad cars. There was no new personnel. I sat on that board of trustees for 12 consecutive years in faith and hope that this village will have an opportunity to turn around. It may be a little uncomfortable for some of the residents right now, but they're going to win in the long run. It's a win-win for everybody in the long run. So I'm asking you guys, I understand we can have maybe better dialogue, but let's get this thing done, and let's look at the future of our community with the 750 jobs, the real estate taxes, the sales tax, and there's another hidden tax inside of there also that all the community will benefit. We talk about a park and rec department. We talk about a multi-purpose facility. Well, the goal of economic development is to bring in additional revenue. And the way it's going now, we might bring in just as much additional revenue as the annual city budget, which will be a great relief to the taxpayers. It's been long overdue, but these are just some of the sacrifices that have to be made for the long run of this community. And that's all. That's it.
Mr. Mayor, a question
Yes,
for
sir.
Miller.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Miller, in digging into my laptop just went dark here.
My lights are blinking.
Yeah. One question I do have here, this projected revenue, we keep throwing out $1 million. Have they even give us those projections about at least $1 million or with the revenue?
I know that Michael had a conversation with them in regards to what they've seen at the other locations in regards to sales tax revenues. They have a Carvana. I want to say actually Michael has one of his other villages. It may be in Oak Brook, but I think they have a Carvana in Oak Brook. But I don't want to. I shouldn't say it for sure. It's in Oak Brook, but I believe they have a Carvana there.
Yes, it's the only other one in the state. Yes,
it's in Oak Brook,
right off
yeah,
355.
But he's the village attorney there, so he has some semblance of what they've seen in revenues from there. That's why I don't want to, if it's 355, it's probably not Oak Brook, but you may be thinking 83, because if it's 83, then that would be Oak Brook. I thought there was one in Oak Brook, or just because on my way home, actually from your place,
it is in Oak Brook.
Carvana. Okay.
It is. It's in Oak Brook.
Okay. I pass it, and that's in that Oak Brook area. So he would have some knowledge, just because of it being, in that area. So he would have some knowledge on that. So that's where I think that is coming from, just based on what we've seen in another community.
Okay, Mr. Miller, if you can help me about this, the reimbursement, is that only if Carvana? I believe that was down in section B1.
Yeah, let me pull up the agreement as well. I have the hard copy.
And Trustee Brooks, while Attorney Miller is putting up this dialogue, what the agreement is, their projection is to recapture their construction costs. As we all had this conversation with Attorney Casaldo. And
you don't remember. You don't remember.
I
Come
remember
on.
talking about Carvana. That's the only
Our
conversation.
kids.
Yeah, that's my little brother.
Right.
He's got his ambitions.
All right. And Mr. Brooks, Trustee Brooks, are you talking about you're talking about section C, which goes in through the reimbursement incentive calculation?
Yeah, would that put the village in any trouble? That I might have missed. I know that the reason why I gave the concern, Michael was very honest with me. One thing that he, of course, what I seen, the positive that I seen was that this would not be a 360 type of deal, meaning that it would turn around out of favor of University Park, but that something can become 180 in the sense of they may give and take some things, and we may have to give and take some things. That he was very clear on it. So my biggest concern is that, like Trustee Jenkins Bell did read off revenue. My biggest concern is that in that section, how would that fall back on us? And then once again, my biggest concern, if it does not work out right, what do we do with an empty building on that corner?
Well, I mean, so I guess there's a couple of things there. In regards to, so if they're getting, let's say they're not getting as good of tax revenues as we think, well, it's a 50% share. It's up to 20 years. Once it gets to the X amount of $24 million, then they only get a 25%. So let's say 1 year that they're at $1 million and the village gets 500,000. The next year they're at $2 million and the village gets $1 million. The next year they may be let's say they're only at $200,000 and the village gets $100,000. That,
right.
There's no negative impact. There's nothing that says that, if they only get $100,000, the village has to pay Carvana $900,000. I think that's what you're asking. And if I apologize if that's not what you're asking. So at no point would you have to pay them.
I thought it was like I was trying to see, was it like a recoup that they were possibly getting in there? Wait a minute.
Yep, I know exactly what you're saying. So the idea behind this sales tax sharing is for them to kind of help them recoup their costs. That's the idea behind it, but you're not writing a check to them. Now, and Madam Village Manager, if I'm misstating something, please, let me, correct me if I'm misstating something.
So far, so good.
Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Yeah.
I want to know who approved this. Who decided that Carvana was going to come here? Who approved this? Who said?
I believe Carvana approached you guys. Approached the village.
Who in the board said it's okay without talking to the other legislators or laying it on the table and saying it's okay? Who did it? I need to know whose idea was this. That's all. And then I understand the need for economic development. The manager did a really good job in trying to, explain it. But we, as a tax-paying citizen, I need to know who approved Carvana when they approached the village to come. Who did that?
Well, I guess from my perspective, it hasn't been approved yet. It's for you guys to approve tonight. But
after they then excavated the land, after we then told them and promised them they gonna come, now you gonna ask us after you could.
I see what you're saying.
You wait till after, and now you saying, well, okay, guys, we need you to approve this.
Okay, I understand what you're.
A transparency, Mr. Miller, Attorney Miller, this is just wrong.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying, they've already started excavation. So as far as they're,
coming. So somebody had to say, we got this. Somebody had to say it. Come on. We got this.
Okay.
Somebody said it. Now, who signed off on it? Don't know.
So basically, Trustee Jenkins is really asking, what were the procedures and policies that were followed for this to happen? Can someone answer those questions?
Yeah, I'll have to defer to the village manager.
Let me just say one thing, guys. Let me say, We have ordinances in place. We have business licenses that are in place. If Joe Blow decides they want to come to the community based on how we've been advertising, what's available, vacant land, show them our zoning maps, whatever, anybody can come to us. We can't stop anybody from coming to us. The only thing is they came to us, they found their own land based on our zoning map. They went to the owners. We didn't introduce them to the owners. They negotiated the price, the owners. We followed our procedures that are on the books. That's why we are where we are. But one thing we wouldn't talk to them about, and that's anything having to do with real estate tax. We didn't talk to them about that because that would have had to take a major change. But the sales tax was something that hurt an interest, because if all they wanted was sales taxes, so we said, okay, this is something we can bring to the board. We didn't have the authority to say, yes, we'll give this to you, but we could say, based on what you're saying and based on our needs, we'll negotiate these terms, take it to the board, get their understanding and approval, and do that. Because as of right now, they own the land.
I know. Mm-hmm. So a question, I'm sorry, when were they gonna let us know? When were you gonna let us know that what was going on? My question is about transparency. Transparency
from NDAs, trustee.
Everything is an NDA. Get real.
No, ma'am. No, you don't.
Everything is an NDA. But you know what? Now that it's out in the open, you need to allow the residents to have a public meeting and just let them question Carvana. This is their life. This is where they live, where they're buying their houses. You don't live here.
But understand, but trustee, I know I don't, but my heart is here more than the average person that lives here. So please don't say because I don't live here, because I spend over plus triple time working.
I know you be here. I do know that.
Public office or otherwise. So please say that I don't live here and use that as
okay.
Go overboard. I go
when we get to the budget, we'll discuss all of that part too.
Madam Village Manager, you mentioned that they came here. Could you please tell us about the excavation? Someone had to get an excavation permit or something. Does anybody take samples of the soil? Anybody do anything? Soil samples, anything? Okay. That the village should be knowledgeable about. Because the trustees, I'm sitting here and I clearly understand. It's almost, I feel like I'm asking for someone's asking me for a blind vote. I have some sense of what's going on, but like I said, I was very clear. I was okay if it was on the west side of Cicero, but it's not. It's a place that can end up vacant within 10 years. And I don't want to be the trustee that everybody going back towards Masson and say, that board voted for that empty building. So starting with excavation, how much did we make money off of Carvana or whoever is moving earth? Because it is a lake over there or a pond or whatever. So,
okay, trustee, let me answer your question. First of all, code enforcement, fire department, the engineers, Illinois Department of Transportation, these folk have been made to jump all those hoops. They had to provide and still providing information for IDOT, for ingress, egress, for code enforcement. They'd have to adhere to usage. We're talking about a location structure. One thing they didn't have to do that we're at a disadvantage, but we are going to require this in the future. And I don't want to bring that, mention it publicly, but I'll talk to you otherwise. But when it comes to sewer, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water, we're like hands off. They go directly, the way our situation is, they go directly to Aqua. The detention is that's where we control it. We require, based on square footage of the land and discharge, detention of X number of square feet, or it depends on the depth, what it is. So
how much money we
our
got?
engineer.
How much money did we get? Because I hear you throwing everything out there, but I asked what permits money and what did we issue and how much?
Trustee, until we get this bond.
Bond.
Yeah, it's a surety bond. Until the village gets that, we're making sure we're covered. The check that we have will not be cashed.
Can I ask a question? Was the planning commission involved in any of this?
The plan commission, there was no need. The plan commission, there was no variance. There was no need.
Was the fire department involved?
Yes, every day. Fire department, code enforcement, engineering. Yes, every day.
Everybody but the legislators. Everybody but the legislators. And this is a transparent government. All I ask is that I'm not saying don't do Carvana, but what I am saying is respect our residents and have a public meeting so they can talk to Carvana and ask whatever questions they want to reassure them that this is something that's going to be so beneficial to the village that we cannot pass it up. That's all I'm asking. It's transparency. If you guys want to say you're transparent, prove it. Prove it.
I will talk to Carvana to find out their positions on that, because they're private. I will talk to them about that.
So we can table this until Carvana speak to us, because I was told,
no,
I was told that
we can't table it.
Back to me.
So now we're gonna be gangster into doing this.
Trustee.
Trustee Jenkins, I was told on the 28th that we'll get back. Someone was gonna get back to me. The next thing I know, I see it on this meeting.
I don't know.
I mean, my vote is going to reflect that, I was told, and I thought it was going well, honestly, with our village attorney. Him and I had great dialogue. No problem. I told him that my only issue is that it come before the board, and I know some trustees love to hear that we making 10,000, but we'll be making 1 million. If I was the trustee, I'll vote for that too. But I'm talking about everything else we need to be concerned about. Give my time.
Madam Clerk?
Just wanted to point out or to ask a question. I don't know which one it is. But under our form of government, which is a managerial board form of government, what is the manager supposed to do as far as bringing in economic development and getting terms and all of this together and then bring it to the board? Is that not what the manager is supposed to do? Because
you're correct.
all of the legislators cannot meet with every developer who wants to come to town. That's why we have in place, under our form of government, which is a managerial board form of government, where the manager gets out there, humps. As I see it, all the years I have been here, that's what I have seen. So the question as to when was the board supposed to know is when the time is right to bring it to the board. And let's face it, some deals are broken because it gets out to the public. And these companies go someplace else. I've seen it happen many times right here in this village. So there was a question and a comment. Under our form of government, is not the village manager authorized to negotiate on behalf of the village, then bring it to the board for their approval? Just a question and a comment.
Oh, can I give you my point? Or you answer some of that, Madam Clerk?
I just asked the question.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, I'm gonna be honest. In your perspective, yes, it's supposed to be a managerial government. But, and I see two heads of public officials shaking their head. Yeah, I understand. But then when you are at a town hall meeting and you're a legislator, and up on the podium, it comes out that Carvana is coming. I turned to one trustee and asked all about this. He didn't know. So at what point do we even as legislators, that's not right, Madam Clerk, because as a managerial government, this is not a strong mayor government. This ain't the White Welsh, this ain't Mayor Kellogg, this ain't none of them that I seen go out and make choices. I know the difference. But nobody said nothing to us. I still didn't even get the cost of the permit. At least tell us something, because tonight—
I want to make it, Trustee, if you were to call me tomorrow, I would tell you what it is, but I do not want to mention it publicly until we get that surety bond.
Yeah, and I understand it. I understand it, Ms. E, but understand tonight, I'm being asked to vote for something. And so all those questions, like I said, I thought this was coming back to me, Madam Clerk. So when I spoke to someone on the 28th, I felt, okay, we're making some progress. There's some communication. But then when I get the agenda on a Sunday night, it spoiled my appetite. And that's kind of hard to do in this house with me. I ain't even eat 2 burgers.
So is it? Can I ask a question?
I understand your point, but we also had an economic developer. This village was along. You're right, Madam Clerk. You've been here 5 terms. We were at a better point in the past. It's unfortunate that in 2016, whatever the heck happened with the money, a lot of layoffs, a lot of things happened. So I understand that now we're at the point that if a public official can help and a village manager can help bring the village to a better point, especially when we're talking about real estate taxes. You know, once again, like I said, I make it no bite tonight that I really thought this was west of Cicero. So even when the word Carvana come up, I said, well, whoever thought of that was a good idea because it's out of the way of the residents and they wouldn't see it. But then when I seen the excavation, people were coming to me saying, what's going on with the excavation? Then as a legislator, I think at some point, what doesn't look like a secret? And then we start saying, because at this point, when you excavating, ain't no secret. I'm coming. That's like me, someone coming in my backyard and plowing and not even getting permits. That's it. I'm just being honest. I mean, if it was just a little more transparent, a little notice, at least about tonight, I wouldn't even feel the way I feel.
Well, Trustee, there is something coming west of Cicero. So just give us a minute, get that, you will have that. There is something coming west of Cicero. And I'll make that publicly known. There is something coming and we're working on that. But we're trying to get that land deal together before we're able to present it, but it's forthcoming.
Trustee Brooks, what else were you expecting on the 28th? Because I believe we all got the call with Castaldo and all this was explained to us. What else were you expecting after that? Because we knew it was coming. We have been talked about.
Who is we? Who is we, Shirley? Because I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know.
All of us when we got the call from Castaldo and the mayor that this was coming. We're talking about Carvana, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And when we got the call and he explained the whole process, what the 20 years and the whole deal. So we were given all this explanation that we have here in front of us unless I'm missing something. And you said
Yeah,
you
it's some-
expect, you're
You're
expecting.
not.
Well, what you see was the basic of what was explained, because I checked my notes and I checked what was reading here.
Right, okay.
What I was expecting, Shirley, what I told him, what I told him, number one, if you're gonna put something there, at least put up a shop, retail, something. Just don't have it some big ass damn building that's full of glass in the cars. Trustee Bolden, that is ridiculous if they go under in 5 years. I don't care if they looking. I'm not disrespecting Carvana in any way, but I'm just saying, I thought I was told that, you know what, we'll see what we're doing. And I said, well, what is the importance of it? And I was told, you know what, the deal is not quite out there, Trustee. That's what I was told. And that it can go either way. It was told it can go 180, more of a give and take. So when we asking those things, Trustee Bolden, I know you don't want to be the trustee that in 5 years you going up to that same corner and turning and Carvana ain't there, ain't no revenue coming, ain't nothing coming. And the thing is that, I mean, people already looking at us about Town Center. They like, ain't no money coming in Town Center. We voted for the water people to come in, all these things. And I done seen, at least I had a walkthrough with the mayor when he wanted to talk about this Carvana the first initial time, in which I would say, yes, there was some back and forth. I didn't know the details, but my thought was we was on the west side of Cicero. But if you're going to be on the east side of Cicero, Carvana got to give us more than just play. They're going, Trustee, that is 50 acres. I don't know if you walked it. That's over 50 acres. So at that point, if Carvana goes under, the problem I'm saying to the trustees tonight, it look good now, but no revenue is going to come in if they go under. There is no promise to it unless they can prove something to us. And that's the whole point I'm making. And I thought that on the 28th, I told him, Michael, mention some development. We'll get back with you. That didn't happen. Okay. Some development need to be around Carvana at this point. If you're going to take up 53 acres, it's pushing towards that easement back there. And so not only is pushing back towards the easement, it's very difficult for a trustee when somebody approached me and say, well, how much you get for this? Why y'all didn't vote on this? Why y'all didn't do this? Why y'all didn't do that? So in a way, it's almost like someone's pregnant. That baby is coming. I'm just trying
There's another development that's on the north side of their acre that's coming. It's a lot of things this went fairly fast, a matter of months, but you gotta get these kinds of things when the opportunity presents itself, when the state is bowing their heads, when monies are flowing. So it's all.
Ms. G, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me say this, and this is for every resident who probably, whatever their opinion about it, let me say this. I appreciate you bringing some type of development. The problem tonight is that these people done came in, they start excavating. As trustees tonight, we're being asked to vote for something. And be honest, tonight, I know the residents gonna watch the vote. And believe me, they gonna know why I voted a certain way. Am I for development? Absolutely. It's just the way we need to do some things around here that needs to change. I yield my time, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee McFadden.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Votes no.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Pass.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides for economic development.
Trustee Bolden. Trustee Bolden.
Sorry, I kept hitting the button. It wouldn't happen. Vote side.
Trustee Lewis.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Votes no.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides.
Mr. Mayor, that's approved and it's resolution or 2021-19.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. We're going to see some great improvements coming to this community. Item F2G, bills payable. General Fund, $552,335.77. Road and Bridge, $34,102.81. Town Center Fund, $13,784.11. Capital Project Fund, $256,132.89 till 4, 5, and 6, 2000. Payroll Fund, $8,171.51 with a grand total of $870,527.09. Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by Trustee Bowles. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Franklin.
Right, right. You know, I got a question. Just go right ahead. I don't even know why you sitting there staring.
We waiting on you. I was just getting all my papers and things so I can look.
Trustee Brooks.
Don't disappoint us.
Yeah, I'm
No,
getting my papers to look at.
No, I just got a question. We have to pay CHW Group after they've been closed? Oh, come on, man. Why you run away?
I never run. I'm going to the bathroom.
I seen your shirt out and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have to pay Madam Clerk somebody? I mean, not Madam Clerk, Madam Village Manager. We got to give them this money. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm looking here.
Who are you? I didn't hear the first part of your question.
CHW. We paying them and
I don't have that.
and I mean, only reason why I'm referenced that because on check 107-380 and 107-462 on page 3 for these golf carts, we paying this. I mean, it's like we're gonna look. I don't see no bank account, but I'm gonna tell you this. I know if you chip away at a certain amount of dollars, we're gonna come up short at some point. And why are we paying for golf carts if they're not here? I mean, why?
Because we're under a contract that was extended over. That contract that was with Billy Casper has not expired. We're paying for the contract. It's a perpetual contract until we decide to go in and cancel it. It's a contractual thing that we're paying for. But Trustee, let me just mention one thing. And I just in case you're asking, first of all, you all know there were 2 employees that for many years that worked for Billy Casper that personally repaired the equipment that was devastated, shot, gone. They were going different locations, get pieces. They put personal efforts into it, personal efforts. When the new administration came on board, we did have conversation and they explained they were retiring and one, I guess, was going elsewhere. But bottom line, they were the glue that kept this equipment that was as old as 21 years. Now, they were also the entity that personally repaired it. When they left, it left 0 employees. The new entity came in and began hiring. What we ended up with, and if you ever had an opportunity to go to the back of the garage, we're now getting rid of old equipment that should have been garbage or whatever years ago. But the point is, the village did not have any. So now we're looking at 2 companies, and it's been almost 3 months. We finally have been able to negotiate and look at golf course, take special equipment like rough moors, those kinds of things. We have finally gotten somebody that would finance the village reasonably. But the point is, we have to independently have someone contractually to mow for 1 week between the rain and everything else. But I've been hearing these equipment. I go by, I'm over there every day.
But it
And
did,
I've heard
but it
people-
didn't make it better though when they put that rotary on there, Miss E. It didn't make it any better. Being a lawn and myself, I mean that rotary kind of tore up that course for a moment, and now it's to the point that I went over that. I kept track. There's maybe the average of 12 or so cars coming over there. Even in the morning, maybe about 12 cars. This weekend, Deer Creek had over 300 golfers at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're just piling into Deer Creek. Now,
Trustee, did you go over there
something is
today?
wrong.
Did you go over there today? Because I did.
Over where?
Slowly coming back now. They're slowly coming back. So we got equipment. We're getting equipment piece by piece by piece. That equipment is expensive. $65,000 for one more. It's so expensive. It really is.
Yeah, but that worries me, Miss E. Like on here, on one of these bills payments, we got somebody asking for a refund. And I just emailed 2 people telling them, please don't leave us. If you leave us, I understand.
But those people, Trustee, were here before the current entity came on board. That's why we have to pay it back. And before, during the COVID, we paid pretty close to $5,000 back. And these people weren't even on board. So there's circumstances as to
Wait,
why.
which people are lost?
Pardon?
Which people?
The ones we let go before in order to get these. We had to pay slightly over a total of $5,000 back in reimbursement to members.
That's 5 people. Because I seen tonight you're giving $1,000 to one person.
Yeah, but I'm saying we had to, and that wasn't this current contractor.
It was before.
We're paying back now. If it's is before people before.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's all I'm trying to say. And I tried to tell them, try to stop them, and I have stopped some that's knowing the situation and willing to give us a chance. But there are some, I mean, there's one in particular.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, Madam Village Manager. Although trustees passed something tonight about bank accounts, where are we as far as paying? Because I still haven't seen anything. And I know I'm pretty good about counting, and I know about what I have seen, and I don't want to be set back another 2-3 years, because again, this was supposed to be the last year. This supposed to be the last year that we were supposed to be out of debt, but we have taken a lot of turns that I know, if my math is correct, it don't look right.
Okay, let me tell you this, Trustee. The state, because we were fined because of prior managing group, the state changed their rules on how they were to give us our liquor license.
Liquor license. No, I'm talking about overall bank. I'm not talking about just that.
Oh, okay. See, all that has to do with that bottom line. So that's what's been affected. The bank. So
well, let me make it easy. We have money in the bank.
Yes.
We won't have to borrow from no TIF yet.
Trustee? No,
Okay.
sir. And you know, I didn't want to borrow from the TIF from the beginning.
Yeah.
I really didn't. You as a board did that. I didn't want to borrow. That's why we refused. There was when we found other ways, we didn't need what was originally asked. So
because it was working, Miss E. That's all. It was working. And like I said, that's why I wanted to know the revenue for that excavation, because if we have revenue coming in, like I seen what you had put in the budget, things make sense.
Okay,
but
let me tell you, let me mention something.
Okay.
Y'all want me to be transparent. I'm going to tell you a little bit of transparency. There are 2 sources of dollars that's getting ready to come here. One source is going to give us approximately $628,000. And another source is going to give us nearly $900,000. So I'm trying to put us in a position and working logistically with finance, and the mayor is up on it. So we're, trustee, it's a lot has been going on in 2 years. A lot has been going on. But on the same token, I'm trying to increase the income in. I'm trying to increase the income in. So it's gonna be all right in a minute. And the village has not seen an influx of this kind of money in decades. So that is a fact, I will tell you that. And the mayor may not say anything, but he can reconfirm what I'm saying.
Absolutely right.
I yield, Mayor.
All right. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee McFadden,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks. To pay the
Abstain.
bill.
Abstain.
Trustee Jenkins Bell,
Votes no.
trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
trustee Bolden,
This is to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
right,
Both sides.
trustee Lewis,
Both sides.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides to pay the bills.
Motion is approved.
I can't find the register. I'm sorry.
Manager, do you have a report tonight?
Oh, I've been reporting.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been reporting.
Thank you.
But let me just say this, a lot of things are happening. Cicero Avenue, we're moving right along. We had to do an extension on that. I'm gonna bring an amendment into the mayor board. We were able to get mayors and managers to allow us to use some of the unused money to be transferred to University Parks project so we can continue. But I didn't bring it to this meeting. I want to get you all the information so it'll be ready by the September meeting. Also, as I've said, we're working on 2 sources. The third thing is the Regal Farm grant is being revised to incorporate lighting, is to incorporate asphalting, to incorporate other kinds of things that
Green infrastructure, solar.
board citizens and everybody else. We're going through that process now. We'll bring it back to the board prior to review for resubmission to the state. Our proposal is in the state. As I said before, they've lifted the lock. They've unlocked the lock that gives us the right to resubmit the grant. Rather than resubmit what we did before, we're going to amend it to incorporate lighting and some other safety issues on that. So we're working on that. Also, we're looking at public safety issues. The issue with the fire station has an issue. The union was about ready to sue the village because it didn't have provisions in there for a male and female bathroom. It's something we had to look at rehabbing and doing. That is currently what's going on.
Is that fire? Question, is that fire station 2?
Yes, excuse me, fire station number 2, the one
Okay.
that's currently closed down for work. We're also, there was substantial mold in fire station 2 to a point that it was beginning to make a situation of illness. We had to have an environmentalist come in, and it's just what had been complained is substantial mold that had been building for years. The roof, the leakage, water was coming in the front door every time it rained. They have to come up with avenues to try to block or clear the water. That was one reason why mold began to really, one of the doors in the fire department had a problem. It wouldn't even open. The other one was partially open, which meant that we had the vehicles in, real emergency for that area in the industrial park, we couldn't have raised the doors. We've had the doors fixed. We are looking at doing ADA compliance, installing a bathroom for the female. We're doing mold remediation. We had to stop the roofer because we had issues with how they were installing the roof. They cut metal areas of it, exposing insulation. We could not no longer allow the firemen to stay. So we had to lease, anybody been by there, they may have seen it boarded up, but had they have gone around the corner a little bit, they would have seen a trailer that was, we've leased it. It's COVID compliance. Folk have to live in there 24, 48 as whatever. We're moving right along, but we're dealing with it accordingly. So to say that, I mentioned it in one of my prior reports. Sometimes I give reports so long, you forget half the things that I say, but I made it very clear that this project was forthcoming. I made it very clear. And now we've not even gone through the board. We've got the contractors approved and we were doing the work. But I think people got a little shocked when they saw we had to board it up. But like I said, looking that we complied. Otherwise, we couldn't have them to stay there when water was coming through the ceiling and other things, but enough of that. But they're working on it still. Also, I want to mention to you the issue with we're trying to find financial sources, public and private funds to go in conjunction with creating and developing a public safety building to serve the increased demand on the west side in the industrial development area. And by that, I mean to have a second station for the police department and a station for the fire department, where not only they do and work out of it, they train, they do whatever else. In other words, if it's something that happened, on the east side, on the west side of town, they won't have to wait until somebody comes from the east side of town. And since I've been here, I've seen what has happened in some of the instances. Time can be very important with that. So we're working on that. So I want to mention to you all again that we're working on that. We're working on a donation of 7 acres of land. We're trying to get this business to donate 7 acres of land, of which we want to build this facility. Now that's with that. Also, we're looking at other sources of funding, Rebuild Illinois funds. Every time something comes up, we go out, we solicit the funding. So far, let's cross our fingers, we have been successful and we will continue. Every time something comes up, there is a rumor out that I don't always look at my email. Oh, that's what everybody is thinking. But if that's the case, when people send me things, you may have sent it to me Sunday. I may get 300 emails a day, but I get to them. Sometimes partially sleep, but I do get to them. But I just want to mention to you all that it's a lot going on in the village. And these meetings that we have, I don't have a techie, but 1 day a week. So when docs come in, I review them along with the engineers. I actively involve code enforcement, the mayor's office, economic development. I try to put everybody in one room so everybody knows what's going on. So I don't want this person over here to get bits and bits. It takes all these different moving parts to make a whole. And as of right now, as I said, Project Rivers, which is another project that's coming forth that we're trying to work on. And this project is an entity where there were several independent dealerships. This is not a car. This is a manufacturing. Several manufacturing, different towns, different parts of the states, or otherwise, have decided after we solicit, every time we go around, we solicit. That's why we got more cards coming. So, and we're doing this piece of PR that when we go to this next international conference of shopping centers of America, we distribute and pull more. These people contact you, they call you. So you don't know how they got your name. You said, oh yes, I was there. They got my card here. So you have to go out and make yourself present and distribute your cards, have your PR stuff, distribute that, get it to them. They will call you. And so this is what's happening. It took a year for a lot of these things to happen, but things are rolling around. They're calling. In fact, I've become a very active member of the Will Cook County Enterprise Zone. And yes, we're trying to do Live, Shop Your Community, which is a program that's going to bring up to 250 gift certificates to this town. This board is doing that to pattern after the city of Chicago to get more people to patronize our local businesses.
That's the whole thing.
A lot of things that are going on. A lot of things that are going on. And I'm sure I'm not going to mention everything tonight, but please understand that I attend the meetings, the managers' meetings, the enterprise zone meetings. We just ended our wrap with CMAP. In fact, just a minute, we had a 6-month grant from CMAP via the MacArthur Foundation. We were one of the ones funded. They selected us to do the video to MacArthur because we did so much with that grant. The minute we got a techie person, we used her until we used her up. But we formulated a process that tells you whenever I leave, whenever you all leave, whenever the mayor leaves, that's going to be filed that tells you the steps of procuring and writing grants that's geared towards University Park. University Park. That did not exist. We have that in place now. We have a TOD that you're getting, a transit-oriented district. You all wanted these kinds of things. I've been trying to get things together in places. When I first came, you all talked in these meetings. What you were looking to do is coming to fruition now. Capital improvement plan is the last chapter was just amended based on amenities in the village, some of the comments that have come from citizens. We're going to bring it to the board, give you opportunity to look, comment, whatever. They're going to make this in a document, but we're going to have a slick piece of a marketing piece that's going to tell about the village's economic development in the locations, this, that. Also, let me tell you what else we're doing. We're developing a land bank. What is a land bank? A land bank is a set of properties put in this bank of all the lands in the village. How do you get land banks? Several. You can get them through priority liens based on banks not doing their job. We go in because it's substandard. We go through the procedures, the policy, and I've been sending letters out and notifying based on your laws, your legislation as provided by ordinances. That's what I'm going by. When they don't adhere to them, we then, we've alerted the attorney, we're getting ready to start demolition, but to do that, we have to, and I've done many demolition projects in my day. We're taking pictures, we're doing PIN numbers, we're doing legal descriptions, giving it to the attorney. They got to go into court, they got to get demolition decrees. They come back, the judge gives them demolition decrees. We put them on sets of demolition bids. We go out for bids. We get prospective cost of these bids. The mayor board awarded to the lowest qualified bidder. We demolish them, we place the lien.
Cityscape is going down.
Okay, so if people pay off that lien and
Hello, everyone. I believe we lost one of the
what
board
we
members.
propose, sorry?
I think one of the board members is left. I don't know if it was a bad mistake or not, just so you guys are aware. I think.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Trustee-
I'm just, you asked for a report, Mayor, and I haven't.
Yeah, I'm at
Okay.
10%. No disrespect. I'm at 10%, and I was at 100 starting.
Wow.
Is that a message?
Get your charger out.
Is that a
Get your
message?
charger out, Brooks.
The village court don't reach that far.
Manager E,
Get
just
the
finish up.
extension
Just finish
cord.
up, man.
Where's your
Mine-
extension cord?
I just hooked mine up too. It's okay. It's long.
Manager E, finish up. Or wind down, please.
Okay, I'll wind down. Well, bottom line is.
1 minute.
I've been out with code enforcement. I've been out with public works. I got addresses, we got pictures, we got legals, we got pen. We're moving, we've informed. We're working strategically with this. In fact, we have 3 that if the attorneys were to go in court tomorrow, we'd be ready to fly to go. So this is for real, guys. We're trying to get this. Another street, Union Street in the village. I've gone to every one of the streets. I'm learning the village like I live here. I live here. I'm learning these streets quite well. And Union is the worst maintained street in the village. We've been having public works to mow. We're placing liens on abandoned properties. The banks have no respect for University Park. They have no respect for University Park. And we're doing what we have to do. We're mowing it. They're giving tickets. They're pasting things on the door, non-occupancy, doing quite a bit around, but in particular, that street, I can cite addresses, and I won't do that in this meeting, but we're doing that throughout. We've gone around. The one other project that we're trying to close out is Old Forge Lane. And I want to mention Old Forge Lane, Aqua is aware that they should have done that sewer in the rear, but in there that they are a private entity, it's like fighting lions to get them to do anything. We couldn't use public monies, so I had to seek the private monies, and that's the source of this. We did go for procurements. The board knew anyway, let's get on to this point. You know, and you knew, and I went to board and we got that and all that. So we're trying to close out. It rained this past weekend, and I went out there Monday. I was appalled to see that they had a landscaper out there to really do whatever, and the grass began to grow. But they put masking tape on top of the discharge pipes and failed to cut them to grades. That's the problem. Contractors, you have to be on contractors like white on rice. So they're due to come out here tomorrow to cut it down. That's it, that's whatever. We're gonna soak it, but after this rain, we may not have to soak it, but we'll get it. We're gonna do a trial and error in that project because the neighbors have constantly been on us. We wanna make sure it's effective before we close it out. So
Okay, Manager E.
I stop at this point. I won't.
Manager E, just one last thing.
But.
Listen,
Abbott
one last
Lane
thing.
And
Listen.
excuse me, let me just tell you this, Mayor. Abbott Lane and Amherst, the money is coming, guys.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Coming.
That's what I was gonna
I feel
say.
so good. I feel so good, but I just don't want to put it in front of you until we get this. We're having the engineers to do the engineer drawings for both Abbott and for Amherst. So get it. It's coming, y'all.
And Manager E, just one last thing. Just let them know that we are not negligent in getting the trees cut down, that there's a plan to get these trees cut down before it gets cold. There's a plan to get the streets done and restriped. We're not negligent. We're just working smartly because we don't do bad days.
It's so much. It's so much. Yes.
Finish it up and let's go.
So much in the course today. Yes. Yes. They've been out picking up the limb. They've cut down a few, but there are main streets that have 1989 on. I have a list. Someone once said it was 119. I beg to differ. It's more than that. And I won't get into a match. It's more than that. And the way you know is to physically get out and go street by street. And some of the trees are not dead.
Yes.
Don't meet that. Others are dead as a doornail. And it's more than 119. So, excuse me, we're going to phase it. We're going to phase it. Worst that have been out there, there'll be the priority in some of those, but I'll stop.
And as soon as we get a budget, we'll be able to get more people in public works and in code enforcement. That's important.
Yes. Oh, let me tell you one more thing, Mary. Then
Manager E, come on. Come on. It's good stuff for the village. Bring it on.
We are interviewing. For 2 public works full time. Interviews start. 2 public works people full time. It's been square budgeted out.
And code enforcement.
Part time. I'm telling you, Mayor, and 1 part time code enforcement. That's good, Mayor. That is good. That's good.
And the last thing, this is my report is a part of your report, that we have not let the before and after school thing fall on deaf ears. We are meeting with the superintendent tomorrow at 2 p.m. to work out some kind of plan for the before and after school. So it has not fallen on deaf ears.
I didn't have enough time.
But it works for the community.
Good job. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn by Trustee Brooks? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Lewin. Thank you so much for all of your patience. Thank you, Board of Trustees, who support the economic development for growth and development. We are on a win-win for the village of University Park. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Have a fantastic day.
All in favor?